Representative Bill Zedler.
And I'm Sheila Hemphill with Texas Right to Know.
And I have been on the Public Health Committee since 2003, with the exception of a couple of terms. And basically, we first started getting complaints about the Texas Medical Board. It's probably been about 8 to 10 years ago. And the problem is that we have, the Public Health Committee has oversight over every one of the other organizations, like the dental board, the chiropractic board, the psychology board, that kind of thing, and over the optometry board. And we hear more complaints about the medical board than all the other boards put together. And so what the main issues have been that there is, first of all, a total denial of due process. And if you can imagine your ability to earn a living dependent upon an agency that, if you got before them, could deny you due process, it could really create some problems. The other thing is there's been a real lack of been a real disparity between the way certain doctors are treated. In other words, you'll have one doctor who no patient's been injured, no patient complained. Some third party files a complaint that under the current law, even I can't find out who filed the complaint. And on the other hand, they'll sanction them or discipline them. But on the other hand, we'll have doctors who you have lawsuits against them, patients injured, that kind of thing. They get them down here, they do nothing. So what we're wanting to do is make sure that that we try and correct the system.
I've been involved with this issue since 2016, when the medical board was on the first round of sunset review. Since that time, I've been investigating, reading transcripts and depositions from multiple physician court cases to find what would be considered by anyone egregious actions. Mm-hmm. When it's stated to the board that they won a case, and you look to see how they won it, it was because they're granted qualified or absolute immunity, which basically means just because they're guilty doesn't mean we can do anything about it.
Right, exactly.
So that's a problem. Mm-hmm. We're having problems where it is the job of the Attorney General's office to defend the medical board in 4 cases that we have going on at the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeal. And in those pleadings, we are seeing where the Attorney General's attorneys are trying to plead that the practice of medicine is a closely regulated industry. So when you look at what's closely regulated industry...
Yeah, but what are some of the other closely regulated industry? Oh, there's...
firearm sales, liquor stores, mining, and automobile junkyards. Yeah, right. So basically it would turn your patient records into unwarranted state inspections without even at least an administrative subpoena, which is what's used right now by the medical board, or probably what should be more utilized is a search warrant. That's correct. So we have, through open records requests and emails from the medical board, that the designated entity responsible for oversight is the 181 legislative offices. Right. So basically, there has never been an independent individual office to even keep track of the complaints coming from either patients, from the physicians themselves, from hospitals, against what services they receive from the medical board. So not only have I received complaints from physicians, we're starting to see more and more complaints coming in from patients about how they were treated at the medical board. And a couple of weeks ago, we've gotten familiar with the Board of Nursing, who, from what I have briefly had a chance to look into, is equally, if not more, egregious in how they are treated based upon information from inside, mm-hmm. that they're 3 to 5 years behind in caseloads, mm-hmm. that don't talk to them, and that's a common complaint hearing from people. Don't talk to them, just get it in writing, they're guilty anyway. So there's a tremendous problem when you have these agencies operating under assumption of
right.
guilt. So I would invite you to visit Texas Right to Know, and we will be putting forth a petition survey that you as a patient can log in and tell us what your experience was. If you had some egregious action you filed against a physician or an incident and it was dismissed and you weren't told why. If you are a physician and you feel that you've had exculpatory evidence withheld, that you see misrepresentations by TMB or BON staff, misrepresenting laws or rules, we want to hear your story. So visit www.texasrighttoknow under medical freedom and you will see TMB accountability or Board of Nursing accountability. This information will be kept confidential at your request, or if you would like your name revealed, you can. We would like to hear your stories, but please be aware what you allow us to print. We want to encourage you not to be descriptive in the event. We don't want names of the doctors or the hospitals. And share this with people and let's see what the situation truly is for our frontline healthcare providers. The problem is, something we're seeing, is that many of the instances occur once these physicians or nurses in particular report egregious errors in hospitals. And then that's when they start finding themselves in a situation. So
Right.
That would be a chilling effect upon any healthcare provider that has need to report errors.
Right. Basically, what they're doing is retaliating against providers who become whistleblowers.
Exactly. So we want to offer a place to share your story, see what we can work together. We are trying to work on legislation. It's incredibly late. It's incredibly difficult to get bills passed, but you now have a place to come and share, and we won't forget you, and we'll do everything we can to see what we can do. So visit
Right.
Texas Right to Know.